All right, now that you have both of these layers in here, I think couldn't remember the exact emoji you picked, but I know it was similar to this. So what we need to do is we need to get this head on this body. So let's go ahead and let's go onto the Tim Duncan layer first. And within your size, just go ahead and let's resize him first, the way that we want his shoulders to look. So Command T, then you can just drag it as big as you want. That should probably be pretty good. I'm going to leave mine like that. Just going to press enter. Now switch to the emoji layer. And now we got to make this, oh, but if I want this to go in front, I have to make sure to reposition my layers so it's on top. So now it will go on top of it, okay? Now that's way too small. So let's Command T here. And that's probably a little too big. But it is just an emoji, so if it's not perfect, no big deal. Let's try maybe something like that. We can always come back and change it later. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go onto the Tim Duncan layer, but first I'm going to change the opacity over here so I can see through it. Okay, let's put that. So we can still see him. We can still see the emoji and kind of see Tim Duncan as well. But I'm going to click the Duncan layer, take the eraser tool, and erase. Now notice it's only erasing his face. Okay, so now let's turn that, go back to the emoji layer, go to the opacity, and now if I move his head around, whoops, it's just his neck. Okay, so that should be okay. All right, now, and if you need to resize some of those things, take the time to do that, okay? Now, obviously, the skin color is a little bit off, so you'll have to do some adjustments for that. A couple different things we can do, and probably for you, this is how I would suggest doing it. Go to the paintbrush tool, turn down the opacity. Mine's at 20% right now. I'm gonna leave it at that. Now I'm gonna take the eyedropper tool, and if this is I think you're doing Mr. Taylor. If this is his right skin color, go ahead and just use the eyedropper tool to pick that color. You can see it comes right here. So now I'm gonna take the brush tool, make it bigger, and I'll probably change his clothing anyway, so it's no big deal that I'm gonna go over top of it. But you can kind of see here that it's lightening it up a little bit. Now if you want it to be a little bit lighter, just go over it again. But we can still, doing this by turning down the opacity rather than putting this at 100%. So now it gets rid of everything, and I kind of like those details in there. So having it, so opacity really means how see-through it is. So I'm going to bring that down to 20% again. Okay, that's good enough. So get that to how you like it, and then we should be good to go. Now, the next thing is going to be to determine what is he wearing. Okay, so I would probably think of some collared shirt or something like that. Oops, I don't think I did that on the right layer. You can see how I moved that around. I didn't do that on the right layer. I should have done it on the Tim Duncan layer. But for now, it won't be a big deal. Just make sure that yours isn't like that. Okay, so then what you're going to do is go ahead and pick out the clothing that you want for it. So that might be just a pattern of a shirt. So I'm going to go to plaid shirt, pattern. Okay, and I'm just going to pick one of the first ones I see here. I like this one, so save image as. Should start. Oh, better open it up. Sometimes. Okay, save image as. Okay, it should be downloading. And then I'm just going to drag this into my downloads. There it is here, and I'm just going to drag and drop it into here. Press enter. Remember that here, I have to rasterize layer. All right. So now I'm on this layer. I'm going to make this bigger. So really I only need to do that skin color stuff on the neck probably. Forgot that he'd be wearing not a jersey and we wouldn't see his arms. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I want to be on this layer, but I'm going to turn down the opacity so it's see-through. Okay, and now I'm going to cut away at how I want this to look. Okay, so I'm going to press enter. And now you can do a couple different things. You can use the eraser tool to get rid of the area, but you're probably going to want to use this lasso tool here, that the one that has more sharp edges here. So the second one down, make sure that one's clicked, and draw the shape that you want it to be. So if you just want it to be a regular t-shirt, you are simply just going to draw it in the shape of a t-shirt. By going around the edge of the shoulders. And I'm dropping a point here, so I'm clicking each time I want it to set down a point. The more curved areas you go around, the more you have to click. No big deal. Now across here, I can just go like this. Oops. Okay, now when I get close to this point here and it has that little circle, that means it's going to connect one shape. Okay, and I can do that. Now I'm going to take that eraser tool and I'm going to erase everything. Oh, I want to go first, excuse me. I want to go select inverse. That's going to erase everything outside of there without erasing any of the inside. So let's go ahead and turn back that opacity, see what that looks like. Okay, so there we go. Now I have some proportion things off here a little bit, but we can deal with those later. Now if you want to add on a collared shirt or something like that, you can do that really, really easily. I might do that by taking the brush tool, making it small, finding the right color, maybe a black. Oops, better turn up the opacity. Making the collar kind of like this. That looks kind of like a something like this. And then you could actually just leave the plaid pattern that is there. There's some buttons. Add a pocket in with some pens. You decide. Okay, so those are a couple different options for you. Maybe think about the other things that you might add, but this should help get you started.